Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another 30 Days on Fire video blog. So I've talked about how unhappy I was at my job and how I quit to pursue what sets my soul on fire. What that is still to be determined. One of the worst parts of my job actually wasn't the job at all. Anyone that lives in a big city probably knows what I'm about to say. The commute. When I worked downtown, I had a bad commute. When the interstate collapsed, I had a terrible, horrible, soul-crushing commute. It was so draining and exhausting and felt like a total waste of time. And I always wished there was like an exercise you could do while sitting in your car in traffic to like kill two awful birds with one stone. I haven't discovered that yet. I even watched some Netflix in my car. We weren't moving, I promise, but that was how desperate I was. And looking back, that was a terrible, stupid idea, and I don't recommend it. So unfortunately, I still haven't cracked the working out while sitting down in your car conundrum. So I did find two things that made my commute a lot more bearable. One in the morning for on the way to work, and one for the afternoon on the way back. Okay, so for my morning drive, there was one thing that made all the difference. Well, two things, I guess. And their names are Jason and Kristen. You have no idea what I'm talking about. Jason and Kristen are the hosts of the morning show on 94.9 The Bull. And listening to them every morning for the hour I drove to work changed my life. If you find a morning show on the radio that you love, trust me, you'll start looking forward to listening to it in the morning. You'll look forward to getting in your car to hear the hosts' voices because you're convinced that they're your real friends, even though they have no idea who you are. My family came to visit me from North Carolina. Literally one of the first things I told them about was the morning show on 94.9 The Bull. And I told them how it made my commute so much better. I made them get in the car and listen to it. By listening to the same station every morning, you really do start to feel a connection with the hosts, as crazy as it sounds. And you also start to have favorite segments, favorite guests, that sort of thing. So that would be my tip for the morning drive, finding a radio station that you love. It really will make the drive go so much faster. But what about the afternoon and evening? When the interstate collapsed, my commute home got 3 times as long. It was torture. And my BFFs, Jason and Kristen, weren't on the radio anymore. Their shift was long gone. So I could either listen to the station and just mourn their absence, or I could listen to a podcast. So that's my second tip. For the PM, you've got to listen to a podcast. So my friends had recommended podcasts before, but I'd never gotten into it until I found a podcast that I became literally obsessed with. I'm totally a convert now and listen to podcasts every chance I get. Even if I'm just driving to the grocery store and have 10 minutes, I listen to this podcast now because I like it that much. It's called Anna Faris is Unqualified. You may have heard of it. Anna Faris is a celebrity. She's a movie star. She's married to Chris Pratt. They have an adorable, adorable little son. I wasn't that familiar with many of her movies, except for the one with Ryan Reynolds. What is that called? Oh God. It's an awesome podcast. She's so funny. She has the greatest guests. The episode she did with RuPaul was like my favorite thing in the world. She's really funny and they do a lot of skits and sketches and role plays and that sort of thing. But she's also really, really smart. They have viewers call in and ask for advice. And Anna always does a great job giving really sound, realistic, down-to-earth advice. And listening to that podcast has totally changed my time in the car. I'll even find myself like getting to where I'm going and parking and staying in the car and listening so I can finish the episode. So those are my 2 tips to make your commute more bearable. In the AM, find a radio show that you love. And in the PM, find a podcast that you love too. Thanks so much for tuning into this 30 Days on Fire video. See you next time.